Ready?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Hey, how you doing?
Hi. We are finishing our second retreat in Koyasan, Japan. We attended the Mindfully More Japan retreat hosted by Sami Seghers. And Koyasan is a place of significant cultural history for Japan.
And spiritual history as well too.
Yes, it is
Mm-hmm.
the heart of Shingon Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll tell you a little bit more about it as we get into this video.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot. We came up here for a yoga retreat, and it was really much more of a deep cultural immersion.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed at the Yocho-In temple, and it took about a day to get up here.
Ish, yeah. I mean, it felt like 5 days.
It felt like 5 days. We flew from Oita in the southern part of Japan to Osaka.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Osaka, we took a bus to Namba Station. Then we
Mm-hmm.
took a train to Hashimoto. Then we took
Mm-hmm.
another train to Oh, Lord. Gokubarushi?
Yep.
Something. I'm
That.
sorry. Then we took a cable car to Koyasan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took a bus to the town
And then we walked
with
for
our luggage.
yeah. So me, I had the 30-inch big bad boy. She had the 25-inch. So yeah, not all the journey was smooth.
I'm sorry for those things.
So yeah, lesson learned, right? You can't assume that every single part of a transportation station is going to have, escalators and elevators. So we were like climbing upstairs,
That one station we're like up, down, up, down, up.
up,
I thought they were
down,
just
yeah.
messing with you at a certain point.
I know.
But
Yeah.
we decided to indulge in the Starbucks
Oh yeah,
because we heard it was really good here.
yeah, Namba Station. So they have this banana creme brulee
Is that
thing.
what you got?
Um, no,
You
no, no,
got
no,
iced
no.
tea.
I had like the yuzu citrus lemon iced tea, which had like little bits of citrus in it,
She was
which
very
was
excited.
lovely. But I did have a banana roll.
And I
Hmm.
had a matcha, which tastes different from regular matcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do
Mhm.
this day-long journey. We get here and
Mhm.
we check in and we go across the street to this cafe to grab lunch.
Mhm.
I cannot wait to
Beautiful.
share the pictures with you guys. We were escorted into a
Beautiful.
room. There
Mhm.
were pillows on the floor, traditional setup where
Mhm.
we sit on the floor in the pillows,
Mhm.
set us up with beautiful china. They had these open windows that just looked out into this
Mhm.
beautiful field. And
Mhm.
it's that moment where you're like, I know I just went through a lot, but
Mhm.
maybe it was worth
It was
it.
worth it.
So we
Yeah.
had this delicious, luxurious meal
Mhm.
because we rushed and made up so much time,
Yeah,
right?
so
About us an hour.
we definitely made up time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily intentionally. I don't call it God's grace, whatever you might, but we got here in time to get lunch and to actually check in. So the first day, 3 p.m., we had our kind of late afternoon yoga, followed by, we finally figured out how to get our luggage shipped ahead.
Oh, Lord.
In the last
I don't
video,
want to talk about it.
in the last
Mm-mm.
video, we were upset.
Mm-mm. I don't want to talk about it. This is a
Okay.
very sore point. No, I
Yeah.
mean, okay, first of all, we're supposed to be recapping the retreat, and we're just talking about travels.
Oh, I'm
We're
sorry.
purging
Yeah.
first. Well, I'm
We're
sorry. We'll be
purging.
back in a moment. Give us 30 seconds to work this out.
Yeah.
So, the difficulty that we're unpacking right here is that
Mm.
we asked several different people that day if we could check luggage, and everybody looked at us like we had four heads
Yeah.
because we were trying to get it shipped to the airport and then have it held.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we try when we first get to the airport, we try at the airline counter.
Mhm.
And then once we got here, our host is like, oh, I've got you. And so she
Mhm.
uses her information and we end up shipping up our luggage. So
Yeah.
we're like, okay, maybe we can do this. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's get
Mhm.
into this.
Yeah.
The first thing we did after dinner, so dinner here is different from Zen Buddhism. It was there's no separation. You are the food, so you eat very quickly.
That's Zen.
Right.
Yeah.
But for this retreat in particular, we were
Mhm.
asked to do a mindful 10 minutes when we first began our meals. And
Mhm.
so if you brought up a dish, you were supposed to take a bite and then put the dish down, put your chopsticks down.
Mhm.
And you did not say anything and you just sat
Mhm.
there and appreciated and savored your food. So you could eat as much as you
Mhm.
wanted to, but there was none of this. So of
Yeah.
course I started out by doing that.
Mhm.
But we got used to it.
Mhm.
It was a vegetarian setup, so we would have like 8 or 10 different bowls.
Actually, I think it was even vegan.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it
cool.
was vegan.
There you are.
Yeah.
So, Shobutsu, the first night was a tracing of a Buddha.
Buddha
And so we
image.
all got to select different images and then we traced them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a meditation with sound bowls, which was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, oh wait, that night we washed a lot of laundry, right? By
Yeah,
hand.
we did laundry by
Like in a
hand.
sink,
Right.
wringing it out, hanging it up. Okay,
Yeah.
traveler stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning we get up at like 4:40 in the morning because we have yoga at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we just looked at each other like, what did we do to ourselves? But then when she took us outside and took us out to like one of the main temples in
It's
Koyasan,
like a temple complex, I think.
and
It
we
was
did
gorgeous.
yoga under this temple,
It was
you
amazing.
realize, okay, so many of the experiences we're having, I never anticipated having in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I am walking through experiences that I've only heard about.
I felt like I think with all the experiences in Japan, because this is going to be, I think, like our 10th day.
Yeah.
I truly felt like I've been in another world completely.
It's such an honor.
And the temple that we're in is 900 years. Oh, it will be 900
This
years
one,
old.
the one we're staying
Yeah,
in.
the one that we're staying in now. It is
Almost 900 years old.
It's technically 897.
Oh my goodness, we gotta get to this video.
I'm sorry.
She's gonna give y'all this history.
Because the monks gave us a wonderful breakdown of the history.
got 10
So
minutes.
like, okay, yes,
Okay.
okay. So what did we do next?
All right, so next, we actually did the icon meditation after. Oh wait, we did morning service.
Morning service
So
with the monks.
there's this beautiful great hall here. It's so ornate. Just, I mean, you walk in and you just lose your breath. It's so profoundly beautiful.
Stunning.
It's small and just so much rich history and like detail. So we go in there for morning service and we're listening to them chant. And there's a part where we go up and we
put incense.
Right, on the ashes. And then we also do chanting with them. And so after we finish that, we have breakfast. And then we decided to do the icon meditation. So that is meditating on a symbol. And so the monk came and explained it to us. There's a young monk here. He's 27.
He's the 49th
of his family
in line.
Yeah.
So his family line has been the one running this temple from 897 years ago. See,
So
that's why I said 897.
okay, she gonna keep y'all gonna know this number, okay? Because teacher Marlo over here gonna give it to you. All right, so after that, we ended up doing Shinrin-yoku, which is forest bathing.
Oh right.
And this is when I was absolutely depleted. I did not realize how. Our breakfast might have been on the light side, but it was so many bowls that I thought it was a lot. And Marla's like, ma'am, I think you're starving. So this particular day, I have no energy. And everybody realizes, like, Portia just ain't got it. So we're, like, crawling through a forest. And we...
Not literally on our hands and knees. I just want to clarify that
we were fine. I'm sorry.
Right?
Well, we're not to that yet.
Oh,
we got to get to the forest bathing, right? So we walked, like, 15 minutes, like, over the hills and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. And so we get to this clearing and we put down our like ground covering and then we lay and we look up in the forest.
It's beautiful.
And I've been reading about this for years. So to actually experience it in Japan, like even though I was not feeling great, I was like, I gotta do this.
But before that though, we stopped at a big massive tree and we just like put our hands on the tree and it just felt amazing just to kind of sit there, just take in the moment, the beauty of the tree, like all of it.
I'm glad you felt that. I felt weak. But,
I had a moment with the tree.
So the forest bathing was actually what helped to restore me. So that's why I bring it up. I started to feel better after that. And then I felt much better when we went to get lunch and I had that Hungry Tiger meal. Look at y'all. This meal had 3 different kinds of meat, which I have to acknowledge is not part of the retreat because we were following ahimsa, but for lunch out, we were allowed to eat what we needed. Yeah. So I had their fried chicken, which is bomb in Japan. I had a meat patty. Yeah, and then
and shrimp, I think.
No, this sausage.
That was on a chicken
this
bone.
Sausage was on a chicken bone. What?
Yeah.
You literally took a chicken bone, deboned it, all this, and then you stuffed the sausage on it. And I was like, wrapped the bone in foil, but it was good. Yeah, it was okay. Good. So anyway, after that, like I started to come back to life, and we realized, oh, Portia needed meat. Okay, great. Yeah. Protein, whatever. So then we had some free time. We did yoga again, and
no, we rested.
Man, we got like
Yeah,
6 minutes.
sorry.
We can't give the whole play-by-play.
Yeah.
So yes, we rested at some point.
Mhm.
But what I want to get into is we went to this cemetery about 3 different times, and it's called Okunyunoin. I'm going to spell it because I can't pronounce it. Okunoin.
Mhm.
And it actually has the mausoleum of Kobo Daishi, the founder of Shingon Buddhism.
Mhm.
And this was so profound for me because when we were walking near the mausoleum, and I haven't even really told this story to you yet,
Oh.
I felt the presence of my grandmother.
Oh.
Yeah. So my grandmother passed just before we started taking this trip,
Mhm.
and Marla was at the service with us that day, taking pictures, and we both commented on like flowers and how prominent they were in her service, right? And how they started to remind us of her.
Mhm.
So when my mom and I visited her in hospice for the last time, my grandmother had been staring really intently at a flower.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
No.
Oh,
And so
wow.
she was like just really staring and studying it. My mom remembered that.
Wow.
So it's very significant to me that you and I started like channeling into flowers.
Mhm.
So we come over here and we just keep seeing these hydrangeas, often in blue and white, which then remind us of the colors for her service.
Mhm.
It's actually the hydrangea month. This is the month that there are hydrangeas.
Only time of year. We
So-
didn't know that.
We're seeing
Yeah.
them everywhere. So we get to this mausoleum and I just feel her presence so strongly. And what I walked away with was just feeling her presence, feeling like I got to say goodbye to her on my own terms, feeling like she's a part of me. And then when we returned that next morning and walked through that area again, what I felt was the recognition that I am still alive and I need to model continuing to live. And that just said so much about like why I'm here doing this trip. So that was the significance, and that's why I really wanted to talk about that. But this cemetery was absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna have to get into it another time and show you guys more pictures.
Yeah.
We're on a tight time right now because we're still finishing up this retreat. But do you want to say one thing about what the cemetery meant to you, or what anything meant to you?
There was something beautiful about the cemetery. It doesn't give this morbid. It doesn't have a morbid
so
dynamic
peaceful.
at all. And it's beautiful death. I know that sounds like kind of weird,
No.
but it's just
The beauty of honoring your deceased loved ones.
your deceased loved ones,
And how
yeah.
they continue to pray for them. You know, there were companies that would buy these ornate crypts, and it would be an honor for the family to have a portion of the ashes stored in the company. So we saw like Panasonic,
Nissan,
yeah,
major Japanese
So-
companies have graves dedicated to their employees there.
So another thing that I wanted to share before we wrap up is the third day, I felt really compelled to get around to the major temples. And so I ended up going to, I'm going to say it wrong now. I think it's Kongo Jubi. Okay. Kongobuchi, we'll say that, okay? But it's the heart of Shingon Buddhism. It's huge. It has the largest rock garden in Japan. I just had such an awesome time walking around it. You get to this one part where there's like this great room, and they allow you to self-serve yourself green tea and like ornate china, just walk around the room. And I'm just like, so hopefully we'll get to share you guys pictures and you'll see all of this.
I was asleep in the room during that
But
process.
see, this is a beautiful thing. You guys think we're like this all the time. It's
Yeah.
because we both honor need for introvert time. We both honor like sharing our real feelings. We honor advocating for each other. And so when you're like keeping it real all the time,
Yeah.
you get your needs met, and then we can get on camera and be like,
Right.
So I think that's all the stuff I wanted to cover this
Yeah.
morning.
Oh.
The Goma service.
Oh,
So
the
every month on the
fire.
28th, the
Yeah.
temple happens to, they have these sticks that you can write your name and a wish on, and then they throw them into the fire.
It's like a whole process.
Yeah.
It's like a whole process.
So we
basically.
actually got to watch that, and we watched our, wishes like go up in flames as an offering. So
Which is a good thing. Going up in flames sounds
Yeah.
bad.
Another-
It's a good thing.
So Koyasan, just briefly, has been a really profound spiritual place for me because I had been releasing so much pent up energy, and I was like, it was like kind of getting to the point of like, this is too much. And so I ended up like learning more about how to like feel my emotions so that I'm not just like shaking it out. So that sounds like a obscure thing to say on video, but it's something that I felt a lot of
Yeah.
emotional energy, and this has been a place where it was so pent up that I had to learn how to manage it.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience for me here. Being able to be a part of the ceremonies, the temple just was so generous in letting us in and
Yeah.
teaching us their ways, taking the onsen baths,
Yeah.
going on their schedule. They're like, you're going to take your shower between 4:30 and 9, and that's what it is. Slept on tatami mats.
Yeah.
So we've been very,
very.
very like welcoming
in the
of,
culture.
yes, very immersed in the culture. So that is about the time that we have with you guys. I know this is a really quick recap, but we have the world's longest stay coming up. So
Yeah.
we're not going to say the country, okay? Okay, cool. So we're going to tease you guys. Today we are going to we're going to spend some more time at the retreat. Like we're here with
Just
like 3 other
closing
people.
out.
We're going to close out. And then we're going to go to lunch back at that nice cafe. And then we're going to take a taxi.
Yes.
Because it's raining profoundly. To the train.
We are not Amazing Race.
And I think we have to
No.
like 4 or 5 trains, which is Amazing Race enough.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get to the airport. And
Haneda.
yeah, and then we eventually have to go to different terminals because we're going to get on separate planes and we're going to fly to the same destination.
Yeah.
And you'll find out where.
Okay. Bye, y'all.